good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Coaches Show. Sorry, did not mean to scare everyone. It's a full house tonight. If you're not down here at Luigi's, you're missing out. I am Billy Collier. We have the Coaches Show every Tuesday at 6:30 here at Luigi's. Y'all can talk. Go ahead. It's 117 Northwest 32nd Street here in Newcastle. And we're glad you could tune in and watch with us, but I think you'd enjoy it more if you were down here with us. Tonight's special, if you come down here, is $10 chicken Alfredo, $10 spaghetti and meatballs. So if you haven't ordered yet, feel free. And I'll just say, as I always say each week, take care of the help. So, hey, glad that you guys are here. Glad that you're watching online. I hope that you are doing well. And if you're wondering where you can get a hold of us at, you can get a hold of us on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. That goes for the Coaches Show, as well as Friday night games. Hey, right here next to me is the man, not a myth, and the legend, Gene Reed. Hey, Gene, how you doing?
Good, Billy. You know we love talking racer football, and we love talking about Luigi's and all the good folks down here and all the good food they serve. And we like the crowd of Newcastle Racer fans. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, calm down. There you go. Well, good. Well, Gene, we came off the game this last Friday, and it was a great game, very well-played game. Didn't end the way we wanted it to end. That's the sad part, but it was a really good game. What are some things that you have that you can share about the game?
Well, first of all, I agree with you. It's always a heartbreak when you lose any game, especially when you lose one to one of your Tri-City rivals.
Especially Blanchard.
Especially Blanchard. But Racer fans really need to keep everything into perspective. I know they know that. We know that. We just need to remember the two teams who played Friday night are among the top teams in 4A, Billy.
That's right.
And there's a good chance that Blanchard very well may be playing in one of the final three games, and we hope the Racers will be in there as well. So let's just look at a few of the stats of Friday night's game, and then let's talk a little bit about the perspective and into the future, the bigger picture, if you will.
Right.
So I'll just run off a few of them. We like to. Blanchard actually scored more points than we did.
They did.
We're not used to that.
No, we're not.
Not this year. Blanchard prevailed 28-13. They had 179 yards passing. The Racers had 147 yards passing. They had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception against them. We didn't get any passing touchdowns this week, and we did lose 2 interceptions. Blanchard rushed for 114 yards. The Racers rushed for 157 yards.
Right.
So we outplayed them there. And total yards, Newcastle prevailed. Blanchard had 293 total yards. The Racers 304. Plus we had a couple of field goals by Toby Batchelder. Conversions, Blanchard converted 4 of 12 third down conversions. The Racers 4 of 14. So it was a tough game. It was a fairly close game.
Yes.
The Racers were always in it. The Racers did not lose composure. It was a good game, and we didn't prevail, but things are still looking up. The bigger picture, first of all, look at the rankings, Billy. Where does the Oklahoman have Newcastle ranked in Class 4A? Do you remember? They've got them at number 6. They moved us down 1 notch from 5 to 6 in the rankings, which reflects on everyone's view of how good these two teams are, how good Blanchard is, how good Newcastle is. And I don't know how Max Preps does their rankings, but I like it. They have Newcastle ranked still above Blanchard. So we'll stay with that for a while.
That's what we'll do.
We know it. It all plays out on the field. Rankings are not everything, but it does show kind of the bigger picture. One other interesting thing, Billy, the two teams that Newcastle played in the non-district, Weatherford, 2 of those games, Weatherford and Plainview, each of them are in the top 10 of their class.
That's right.
Weatherford is among top 10 in 4A. Plainview is well into the top 10 in 3A. Other games played in our district, Tuttle defeated Hara last week 27-0. Bethany defeated Bridge Creek 38-0. And Tecumseh defeated Classen SAS 42-7. One last comment, Billy. I've told this story 3 or 4 times this week, so I'm repeating myself, but I'll share it one more time. Something interesting from last year. Wagner, the School of Wagner in Class 4A last year, they lost their first game of the season to Coweta. They lost game 3 to Grove. Then they lost a district game to Cushing. You know how bad they got beat? 42-0. Both Cushing and Wagner continue to play on. They continue to win. And in the state playoffs, Wagner beat Cushing in the state playoff 24-21. The team that beat them in the district. So in-district losses are painful, but they're learning experiences, and it doesn't lose hope for the future.
No.
What do you think?
Well, not at all. I think if you watched the game on Friday night, you saw what a great game it was. There was two great teams playing it out up there, going back and forth. If you did not get a chance to see the game and all you saw were the stats, you wouldn't really know just by looking, unless the score was on there, who won it. Because you'd see that Newcastle had more rushing yards. Newcastle had more total yards than they did. Had the same amount of third down conversions. Everything was level. Even going into coming up on about the middle of the fourth quarter, it was still 14-13.
Right.
And then after that is where things got a little different. It is not, and this is Billy. It is not that we beat ourselves on Friday night. We played a good team, and we played a good team well, and a good team won. And so that is something that I really see that went really good and really appreciate. I appreciate the players playing hard, going at each other hard, and then after the game congratulating each other in a well-fought game.
I think the outlook looks very positive, very rosy for us if we continue to play our game. Billy, good job. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, that is the opening segment. We're going to be right back here with Coach Quentin Blue. We're going to ask him some questions, a little bit about himself and things that are going on. So if you will just hang with us, we're going to take a short break right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma, because we wouldn't be a community without you.
Hey, all right, guys, we're back here at the Coaches Show. Want to say thank you for being here with us here at Luigi's. Want to invite you to come down if you're in the area. Get you some chicken Alfredo, spaghetti and meatballs, $10 special tonight at 117 Northwest 32nd here in Newcastle. Hey, with us right now, you see over here to my left, it is the tight ends and wide receivers coach, Quentin Blue. And so, first time on the show. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you.
Glad that you're here. Gene, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, Coach, you've been at Newcastle for a while. First of all, so I promise not to ask you too many hard questions. So here's an easy question.
Right.
How many years have you been at Newcastle?
This is my 7th football season here.
Wow.
7 Yeah, it's crazy.
And tell us a little bit about how you came to be a coach here at Newcastle.
Well, actually, so Coach Brickman, our head coach, I played against him in high school. So he was at Southmore, and I was at Moore High School as a player. So I got to play against him, so I knew him that way. Also, Coach Haggerty, that is one of our coaches, he was my DB's coach when I went to Moore High School as well. So I knew a couple coaches that came over whenever everybody got hired out here at Newcastle. So I had a good little foot in the door already. So.
Oh, excellent. Well, we're glad to have you and your family here with us tonight. So tell us about your we know your job title here. Tell us about your roles. What are your responsibilities?
So I coach the tight ends and wide receivers, like he said, and I also actually am in charge of all of our huddles. So I do all of our filming, all that type of stuff. I make sure our highlights are up and stuff for the kids.
So by huddle, you're talking about the technology.
Yes,
If you're in charge of our other huddles, you don't have a job.
No, not that huddle. We go no huddle. So
tell a little bit about huddle, the technology.
So pretty much like on a daily or on a weekly schedule, we film practice, and then I cut up all the clips during practice, so the next day we can watch film and see how we need to get better over the week. And then after the games, I send the film to our next opponent and get the opponent's film, cut all that up, that type of stuff. So we have all our film is up and ready and stuff like that. So.
And how was that? Okay, you're talking to two old guys here, all right? How much has that probably changed?
One average guy.
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
How much has that changed, would you say? Because you got to get things up a lot faster. There's different ways of doing that. What is that like in getting, you get the video from them, then you have to set it up for, I'm assuming, each of the rooms, running backs, wide receivers, LBs, and everybody?
Well, the blessing is last year we actually invested in a huddle focus camera. So nobody films our game. It's all by a camera, films it all by itself. And for games, it clips it up and everything. So for games, I really don't have to do anything. Now, practices, it's a little different. It just films like the whole 2-hour practice. And then I have to go in after practice and cut everything up. It takes about an hour to cut everything up. And then I send it out to the whole team. And then for like away teams, they send it already cut up. So I just get it and I share it out to the whole team and the coaches so everybody can see it for the whole week.
Okay, now are you in charge of sending it to the other team as well?
Yeah, yep. Okay. We pretty much, whoever's in charge of it for the other team and me, right after the game, like after our game, I'll go up to the field house or get on my computer. We'll email each other, send our 2 games, send their 2 games, and then share it to the team.
So you don't hack it up and change numbers around or anything like that?
No, I don't have to do any of that. Thank God. So.
Yeah, very good. Well, so we talked technology. How about the other roles, player roles?
Okay, so the other thing is I'm a para at the high school, so I work in the spec ed room. So during the day, I'm taking some of the spec ed kids to different classrooms, helping them with their work and stuff like that. And then other than that, like, pretty much tight ends, wide receivers, and huddle. Those are my main things.
And that keeps you very busy.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, good.
You know, when you're working with crazy kids, you're always going to be busy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, the Blanchard game, what are some takeaways that you could probably share with us about that game, just what you saw in the game and then what you were sharing with us in the break after the game?
The biggest thing that I noticed and all of us coaches noticed when we watch film is we had a great game plan. I mean, we did what we put in the playbook what we were supposed to do offensively and defensively. Unfortunately, on some of those things, we didn't execute like we wanted to. And like you said earlier, we actually had more yards on offense than them. Okay, right. One of the biggest stats that we all notice as coaches is we were in the red zone 4 times and we only scored once. So we were 1 for 4 from the red zone. But the biggest thing about that game is, man, I'll tell you right now, I think our kids are excited because they understand that we are this close. And if we execute the things we're supposed to execute, it should be another win for Newcastle.
Good.
Well, very good. Well, so you told us you work with the Spec Eds kids, and you also have the coaching assignments. I know your family is here.
Yes.
You have beautiful kids, and I also understand, and here we go, I understand that you know Coach Haggerty in a relational way, a family way. Is that the truth?
Yes, I do. So his daughter is actually my high school sweetheart. We met in high school, and we've been together for about 7 years now.
7 years. Well, I asked him for an embarrassing story on you, and he said no.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go that route with you.
I don't do anything embarrassing.
That's right. Well, good deal. And hey, more Lions. So am I.
Yeah, right.
Well, man. Well, hey, thanks a lot. Now, let me ask you this. Now, coming this week, we're coming from the Blanchard game. Then next week we're going to do the Bridge Creek game. What are some differences that you could maybe bring out to the fan? That's what we do this show for, is more for the fans. What's something you could probably bring out that they might see this week against Bridge Creek?
Honestly, the biggest thing for us is just getting better at what we already do. So we have our next 3 district games. First off, our next 5 games, 4 of them are away, and only 1 is at home. So we're going to be traveling a lot. We have to be ready to go on the road, make sure we have all our stuff, and make sure we're executing the best that we can. So the biggest thing I'd say is you may not see much different, but we want to be the best at what we do. So that's definitely what we're going to focus on for sure.
And, Coach, just before we break, how about the student body? We have several members of the student body here tonight. Student body,
yes,
we're glad
thank you guys
are
for
here.
coming. Thank you guys for
coming. And how do
coming.
you feel about the game, the excitement of our fans on each of our home games?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I think our student section and our fan base, it's crazy. I mean, even on Mondays, middle school and JV games, it's packed out there. So that's definitely one of the biggest things about coming to a smaller community is everybody in the town's at the games, and that's one of the things you got to love about it.
Well, in the Friday Night Lights, that's right.
Yep.
So, hey, thanks for being here. And by the way, this Friday we're playing at Bridge Creek.
Yep.
So it's not Woodward.
Yeah.
It's Bridge Creek, and so we hope to see the fans completely just fill out the visitor side. So
Yep.
I hope that you'll be there for that. Hey, thanks a lot. This is an enjoyable time, and glad to see everything you do and appreciate everything you do. And
Thank you.
I hope that everything goes well with you the rest of the season, and I like what you said. We're working on what we can do better.
Yep.
I think that's a great
100%.
thing. Well, all right, well, we're going to be back here in just a second with a player, TJ Bradford, who also got player of the game. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So he'll be back here right after the break here on Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
Hey guys, welcome back here to the Coaches Show at Luigi's, 117 Northwest 32nd here in Newcastle. We got a full house tonight. There's a couple of tables. If you get on down here, you can get in those and enjoy the time here with all of us here. Hey, you'll see over here to my left, we have the player of the game for Newcastle Racers. And you have to understand, they have a specific grading style that they do for players of the game. And TJ Bradford over here is the player of the game for this week. Also, if you look on OSN, he was also in the highlight reel for one of his hits that dislodged the ball and his helmet from the guy that caught the ball. And so we just want to say welcome. We're glad you're here.
It's glad to be here, man. I'm really glad to be here.
TJ, you all brought your fan base with you.
right.
I'm glad.
I'm nervous.
So I've got a couple of questions, but my first question is not on the script. How fast are you?
Man, actually, this summer I went to a camp, and they clocked my 40 time at a 4.5. But other than that, I haven't really been to any other camps or really trained on it since then.
See, I do it in a 4.5 also, 4 minutes, 5 seconds.
Are you fastest on the team?
Well, more like a
if you're not, that's even better news.
It sounds like you don't want to say.
If we got kids faster than the team, I hear TJ so fast. If thunder was his speed, you'd hear thunder before the lightning strike.
There you go. There you go.
He is fast. Well, TJ, where's my real question? You've had quite a bit of playing time last year, and now you're getting a lot of playing time this year. How would you describe your experience this year compared to last year?
Well, I have to say it's definitely a bigger responsibility than what it was last year. Last year, I was kind of, getting used to high school ball. It was definitely faster than when it was from middle school. So I would say me maturing and getting used to it for this year and now having a bigger job from what I did last year is definitely the biggest difference.
Wow.
Do you feel like the game has slowed down to you a little bit between last year and this year?
Most definitely.
Where you can kind of say, I notice one thing you do when you get the ball is you kind of, and I like this because, I'm shorter than you, but you get down and you can get behind the line where they can't really see you, and then you see the hole and you're gone.
Yes, sir.
Is that something that's kind of slowed down for you to help you through this year?
Yes, most definitely.
I heard someone ask the defender, did you see TJ? And he said, almost. So, hey, what else I was going to – we asked this. I think we could guess your answer, but what do you like best, offense or defense?
It's definitely 50-50. It's hard to do that. I don't know.
You
definitely 50-50.
You can't see it on TV. He's sitting in front of two of his coaches. Three of his coaches.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
There you go.
So we love you 50-50. A lot of the guys will say, I guess offense because I get to score more points. But
right.
But you do a lot on defense, man. It's been fun to watch.
Well, let me ask you something about defense. This year you brought in the 4-2-5.
Yes, sir.
How has that kind of changed how you played from last year as a DB?
Definitely we play less man than from last year. Last year we manned the twos up most of the time in our coverages, but from this year I'm actually more of a flats player to curl. So we don't really man as much as.
Well, yeah. So you play more of a zone.
Did you get all that?
Yeah.
I did. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're watching the flat, whether as it goes in or more as it goes out, or just either one.
Either one, most likely.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Good deal. That was just something I didn't know. I know that Bradshaw had brought in a 4-2-5, and I didn't know how that kind of looked maybe a little different from last year, and how you. And I know you're back there with Heskew and Lane and Shanuel and all of them. And so I just wondered how you enjoyed that, or how that was going for you, how it was different.
It's definitely I'd say it's definitely a different defense. I'm usually used to playing man, but me playing zone is another aspect I'm glad I could work on other than just man coverage. It also allows us to get in different coverages in a faster time other than just man. Because in man, we just, everyone knew, okay, if we take two away, then we could always get someone to the flats. And by playing that type of defense, we take the flats away, and I've actually enjoyed that.
Very good. And y'all are doing a great job with it.
You've played Blanchard and varsity twice now, last year and this year. I'm not going to ask you about the details of the game, but how about the experience itself? Do you feel better this year in your competition with Blanchard than last year, or what?
Yeah, I definitely felt way more confident from last year.
Yeah.
I felt, more home to the game. So, definitely, like I said, like you asked earlier on, if it slowed down for me, it definitely did slow down for me from last year. I will say from last year I was really antsy, and this year I was just, I was ready to go. I was ready to get out there and play ball. So.
Oh, you're fun to watch. The team is fun to watch. We see the action of whoever's carrying the ball or who's getting the hit. We also always take time to talk about those linemen in front of you and behind and on both sides of the ball. Our line has done such a great job.
Great job.
So a lot of the accolades our running backs and everyone gets is because of them too. So we as Jackson Burt said, show them some love, and we always do. So TJ, really fun to watch you though, and congratulations thus far, and we've got a great second half of the year coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we do. We enjoy watching you. You're usually on to one of their premier receivers and handle them and do them real well. We notice that every week when we're watching on OSN, and just you're doing a great job and continue it. All right. Hey, thank you, TJ Bradford. Be sure and show up on Friday night. You will see him in action.
If you watch closely.
If you watch closely. No, you'll see him in action on OSN if you can't be there in the stadium. So, hey, thanks a lot for being here, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, we'll be right back here after
Thank
this
you,
break
sir.
on
Good
OSN.
job.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Hey, we're back here at the Coaches Show here at Luigi's. Still a full house, a lot of people here. I guarantee you if you come, you will see somebody that you know. Speaking of somebody that you know, you'll see over here to my left, Coach Jason Haggerty. He is a special. He travels with his own entourage, and they are with him wherever he
his
goes.
Posse.
That's his posse. He's a special teams coach, linebackers coach, and track coach.
Yes.
They're at Newcastle, and it's good to have you here. Hey, let me ask you this. How many years have you been with Newcastle coaching? And then what are some of the other things that you do at the school?
This is my 7th year at Newcastle. I came in when Coach Brickman came in his first year. I was at Moore. We've actually known each other since the early 2000s. We came into Moore together. He was a middle school coach at one of the middle schools, and I was a middle school coach at one of the other middle schools, and just kind of built a relationship through that. And then when Southmore opened, he went to Southmore, and then I went to Moore High. We were still good friends through all that, stayed in contact with each other, and knew eventually that we would end up coaching together. There were actually a couple times that when he was the head coach at Southmore, where we had talked about me possibly coming over there and coaching with him. It just never worked out with my family situation and, being a Moore Lion and all that. I didn't want to leave that. But we always knew that we would end up coaching together. And then he got the head job out here, and I came out. And my first 3 years, I was the defensive coordinator for Jeff. And then took a couple of years off. We moved. My wife opened a business, and my son was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic and some medical issues. And, there were just a lot of things going on. And so I took a couple of years off. And last year I had the opportunity to coach with Coach Wilson and Coach Bradford and some of them with the middle school. I had a lot of fun with them. And then, Coach Brickman asked me to come back and if I would want to coach the high school varsity again. Good. So this is my first year back in a couple of years.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah, well, we are.
And that middle school, we know the value of how that program is doing and how it helps the varsity as they move up. And if I may just hitchhike off something Coach said, I think about the network and family of coaches.
Yeah.
Now, not just the business network, which is significant,
Yeah.
but so many of you all spend time with coaches you've coached with in the past or known in the past, and we've heard it in every one of our shows thus far, and I find that interesting, and it really speaks a lot, among other things, Coach Brickman.
Oh,
he
yeah.
really cares for and keeps in touch with those people that he's worked with in the past.
Yeah, he does a really good job with his staff, bringing people in, because there's always turnover, but he's always managed to, he's got a big network of coaches and former players, and with offensive coordinator Coach Ketch, and now Bradshaw coming in, former players of his. He's got a really good network, and we lose people sometimes, and they move on for whatever reason. But we always he's done a really good job of filling those holes with really great coaches and great people.
Well, that is awesome.
Yeah. Let's transition into just how the team is doing. How do you think the team has progressed from last year to this year, and from August of this year to October of this year? What are your thoughts on that?
So last year I was doing the middle school, so I wasn't around the varsity program a whole lot, and they ran a totally different defense than what we run now with Coach Bradshaw's defense. So it's really hard for me to evaluate, from last year to this year. But from this year, when we started in August, the system that Coach Brickman has implemented is, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it's been really consistent. And that's what you see a lot of those powerhouse teams on the east side of the state, your Bixby's and Jinx and Unions. Those kids run the same offense from the time they're in sixth grade until it's the same verbiage, the same language, basically the same plays.
And
Coach,
it shows.
Yes, 100%. And Coach Wilson at the middle school, they're doing the same thing. So we're simulating and getting that here at Newcastle. And it's taken a while, but you can see now that we're reaping the benefits of that.
Oh, and I believe so, and I think that is when you have some of the younger players, some of the freshmen and sophomores, and even the seniors have been starting for several years. So you see kind of what you're saying as you've started younger and bringing the system together and doing that as well. Now, I know the 4-2-5, and you're a linebackers coach.
Yep.
You got some great linebackers in there.
Yes, I do.
And two that just stick out to me just right off the bat, Lovejoy and Rice.
Yes.
And how they are quick to respond. What are some things that stand out to you from the linebackers room?
Especially with Shane and Brady, the thing that stands out the most is they are great leaders in there. They help me coach some of the younger ones. So, they get their reps in practice with the ones, and they're right there behind helping those younger guys. And we've got a core of young linebackers that are coming through the system. And they're right there helping. Brady and Shane are their biggest cheerleaders, and they help out so much. I appreciate their leadership and their hard work. I mean, that's the thing that stands out the most on the field is, Shane and Brady, they lead by example. They're good hitters. They're very coachable for the most part, and they're just great people.
And I've seen that too, and I've mentioned it before. A lot of talking on the sidelines, player to player.
Yep.
And those are two that have kind of stuck out to me.
A little bit of coaching along the way,
right,
if you will,
yes.
player coach.
And encouraging. So, yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yep.
Are you also involved in special teams?
Yes.
You work with Coach
Coach
Ingle King.
Yep.
Now,
So
a good part of the game, a lot of part of the game is not special team. And then when special teams are special.
Oh, yeah. It's not important until it's important.
Until it's
That's
very
right.
important.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about that, because I really appreciate what I've seen in that role.
Yeah, so Coach Ingle King he's our special teams coordinator, and he does a really good job with those kids. He brings a lot of energy, which we need a lot of, especially, after a loss like this, you lose to a rival. He brings a lot of energy, and the kids really respond well to him. So I kind of work underneath him, and he's let me take over. Anytime the other team is kicking the ball, that's what I take care of. Right. So we're talking field goal PAT block. I do kickoff return, and I do our punt return. And I run all that through him first, so it goes through him, and then we put the game plan together on the weekend or sometimes on Monday after the JV game. We'll put the game plan together for our special teams. And I feel like our kickoff return, we haven't broke one yet, except for the onside kick.
Right.
that Heavy J return.
Heavy J.
The Heavy J.
Yeah.
That's right.
Other than that, it seems like we're always one block away from taking it to the house. We've already got a punt return. Caden Longman's got one against Woodward. Yeah. And those special teams plays, those are backbreakers for the other teams. And I think if we could, we're one block away on those kickoff returns, and I think we've got everything shored up, and I think we're going to have a big game special teams wise against Bridge Creek.
Well, good deal. And that's one of the things, they say linemen don't get enough love, and neither do special teams.
Yes.
But if you think about in a game situation, to have bad special teams and bad linemen get you nowhere, get you deeper in the mud.
Yeah.
And so really appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate the years you've been here. Now, did you graduate more?
No, I did not. I'm actually from Iowa.
From Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We still love you.
Yes.
I just happen to be a Moore Lion myself. And so
my kids went to Moore. I coached my son at Moore. Both of my daughters were managers for me at Moore.
Wow.
And, just with the relationship I had with Coach Brickman when he became the head coach out here and he asked me to come out here.
And I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I'm too.
glad that you're here. Hey, this is Jason Haggerty. You'll see him down on the sidelines. He gets them fired up, like you said, for kickoff returns. You'll see him go out on the field, and he's like, come here. And you just see him doing this constantly. You will see him again this Friday there at Bridge Creek. Thank you for being with us, Coach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And I hope, looking forward to a great Friday with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all you do.
Hey, we're going to take a break here and then go into our overtime. Again, we're here at Luigi's in Newcastle, 117 Northwest 32nd. Come down, get you a bite to eat. We'll be right back after this break with what we call our overtime here with Coach Lewis with cross country. So come back with us here.
Coach Haggerty.
Coach Haggerty right here. We'll be right back on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
All right, we're back here at the Coach's Show at Luigi's. I'll say it again, here at 117 Northwest 32nd Street. Have some time to get out here, get you a bite to eat. A couple of tables opening up, so get out here. With us tonight, we have the cross-country coach, Gerald Lewis. He's here with us for the first time.
Thank you.
And it's either his entourage or Coach Haggerty's entourage. We're not sure. But he is here, and same people. Very cool. But we're here. He coaches the cross country here at Newcastle, and so we wanted to have him here on our overtime. If you're unfamiliar with the show, we do an overtime, which doesn't have to do with the footballer or the football coaches. We always like to bring on somebody else that's very important to us as well. And this time, it's going to be Coach Lewis. Gene?
Well, Coach, I was sharing with you during the break that I have not followed cross country, but I have a grandson who came to Newcastle to run cross country Friday, so I was there Friday morning, and I'm so glad because I finally got the gist of it, you might say.
Yes, sir.
I had no clue. I could not figure out how in the world they could run that far in one race, but first of all, I was told that Newcastle is a very nice place for them to come. They all enjoyed Newcastle, so congratulations we're glad to have it as a city venue, but y'all did a good job of setting that up. So we're going to ask you a few questions about cross country as well as your role in cross country as well. But so just start off, tell us a little bit about a cross country program for Newcastle.
Okay, the way we run it here is we do middle school and high school together. We try to build, like we're really big on the program. And, you know, we understand that if we do not have a successful middle school program, we will not have a successful high school program.
That's a good point.
So we try to build family. I mean, I think Coach Haggerty talked about it a while ago with the middle school football, or Coach Blue. He's like, that's your foundation. And you have to pour into that to be successful at the next level. And that's what we try to do. We have amazing parents, like you talked about with our cross country meet Friday. We had so many parents volunteer to make that run smoothly. We had 1,158 runners show up.
1,158.
Wow.
That's just runners, and they all had parents and grandparents
family.
there.
That's right.
That's great.
And we
and
had
coaches. And
yes, sir. We had over 40 schools from middle school to high school show up, and they're all coming to Newcastle.
So kids actually like to run?
They do not. They our saying is, you know, our sport is your sport's punishment. Because we know when you get in trouble in football, you get in trouble in basketball. What do? You run.
Right.
So
that's right.
Our theme this year is built different because it takes a special athlete to be a runner, because it is very difficult, and that's why our culture is so encouraging, because you're doing something no one else wants to do. And you saw that, Mr. Reed, at the cross country meet, how just parents, coaches, they just cheer for anyone, not just their own kid or their own team. That's right. Because you see the looks on their faces as they're coming through, especially coming off that hill.
And it's not marathon, but
Yes,
it's
sir.
as unto the marathons, because they cheer all
Yes,
the
sir.
runners. So
Yes, sir.
So there's a boys and girls team at high school and middle school.
Yes,
so
sir.
4 teams.
Yes, sir.
And so how many runners are on your girls team?
So we
varsity?
we have a total of 30 high school runners, boys and girls, and we have 34 middle school runners, boys and girls.
Okay.
Middle school is 7th and 8th grade. They're not smart enough yet to figure out how hard it is. But when they get to high school, it's a different breed.
So those high school runners all run together, if you will, and warm up and practice and everything like that.
Yes, sir.
But then when they compete, sure, is there a limited number? Is there a number that you send up to compete?
Yes, sir. So most races, the varsity squad is 7 runners, boys and girls, and then you have a JV race. So the rest of your high school kids, like we have 22 boys, I think. So the rest of those boys can run JV.
They all can run.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So every one of our kids can run a meet, and that's the beauty of cross country is, there is no bench. So everyone can participate.
So on the 7 who compete, for example, all 7 count, or the first 5 count, or what?
See, I see what you're fishing for. So because you've never been to a cross country meet, so you're trying to figure out how to score it, aren't you?
That's right.
Okay, so it's lowest score wins, so it's like golf. Right. Okay, your first 5. So you run 7 runners. Your first 5 runners that come in is your score. If you finish first, that's 1 point. for your team. If you
right.
finish 10th, that's 10 points for your team.
Correct.
So you take the total of all 5 of your runners, first 5 runners, you add those up, and lowest score wins.
All right.
Wow. So there is a strategy to that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To run into. Explain a little bit about that strategy, or what you kind of
Yes,
coach
sir.
the kids to do in that.
Yeah, so we're learning this year that we're just not going to run. We're racing, and we're competing against these other schools. And we talk about Blanchard Friday night. My goal Friday was to beat Blanchard boys, and we lost by 5 points. So, but we do talk about, because it is a 3-mile race, so you cannot go out too fast, but you cannot go out too slow. And if you've seen the start there, Mr. Reed, you have 300-400 runners at the start going at the same time, one direction. So you have to get out quickly to avoid the crowds, and then you kind of settle back in, get your pace, get your legs, get your lungs, hit that mile mark, see where you are. Like most of the high school boys, they're going to be around 5:30, 5:15, 5:45. And then that second mile, you got to kind of settle in, get your pace, get going, and then that third mile, it's guts. And whatever you've got left, we always talk about leaving it out there, leaving it on the course, and our kids do a really good job of that.
And as many as there were for the Newcastle meet, and I heard different stories for other meets, but they were praising their experience here. As many cars and vehicles as there was parking available. It's easy to walk to the actual starting line and everything. It was a great day.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. How many years have you been doing cross country?
Oh, this is my second year. This is my first year as the head coach.
Okay.
Last year I was the assistant coach with Nikki Gaylor and Kelsey Corbin and Randall Robinson. So.
Well, I know some of the players. Of course, I know you love them all. Are there some that kind of stand out to you, though, that are maybe leaders or ones to keep an eye on for when people come to the race?
That's a trick question.
Who are your favorites?
Because if I single out one or two individuals, I'll get in trouble for the rest of the team.
Can't do that.
But I will say, senior Jason Lee, who's here tonight, I don't know if you know her story. 3 months ago, she was involved in a wreck, and three vertebrae in her back cracked off. 3 bones in her vertebrae cracked off, and she didn't know what her future was. And Friday was her first race back.
Wow.
So that's exciting. And I'm not going to cry. So that's exciting to see the family atmosphere of what we have, and she still wanted to be around the program, so she was one of our managers. And it's funny because her first meet, I had to take her off the ineligible list and put her on the actual entry form to put her on there, and it was really exciting for me to do that. And then Friday, she actually ran in her first meet, and she medaled. So
wow, that is amazing.
So we're excited to have her back.
And the fans were talking about her among themselves. They were telling me, now see that young lady right there.
If you know her story, and I, if you don't, I encourage you to learn her story, because she's. I mean, we have 3 weeks left, and she's a huge part of what our success can be. So.
Wow. Well, did you grow up involved in cross country, or how did you come to cross country?
Yes, sir. I grew up in going to school in Florida, so I was the football guy, but I was a little kid, and I was fast. But and then so my middle school coaches kind of saw that we had a middle school road race. Just one day, and so we were able to get out of class, so I entered it, and I won it, and so the track coaches put me in the mile 8th grade year, and then we ran at the local high school, so the high school track coaches saw me there, and I wanted to play football my freshman year, but I was 100 pounds, and but they kind of invested in me. Coach Pete Wright, he's kind of my mentor, just a guy that just poured his life into me in high school. And so that's kind of why I am the way I am, trying to invest into my kids, because that's how it was for me.
Well, and just being here, you can tell you really love it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's not just, here's something that I got a contract to do.
Yes,
it's
sir.
something that you really love. Now, I know there's some meets coming up.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to give you a chance. Tell the fans, people watching, people in here, about some of those meets, when they're at, when they are, and where they're at.
We run Saturday at the Gordon Cooper Technology Center. It's Oklahoma Baptist is hosting it.
Okay.
I said Thursday. Did I say Thursday?
Yeah. I would.
Thursday. It's Thursday.
And they look mean.
I know they are mean, and they're fast,
and
so I can't catch them.
And that's in Shawnee. Gordon
Yes, sir.
Cooper Votex in
it's,
Shawnee.
Yes, sir. it's in Shawnee, and we run at 5:30 is the first race, and then it rolls from there. And then we have regionals. Regionals is October 21st, and we will know where we're going October 13th because there's different sites.
Great.
And then state is the 28th, and that's in Edmond.
So, all right. So if you correct your professor, you get a bad grade. If you correct your running coach, I'm afraid to say what's going to happen to you.
Do you make them run?
Well, for them, I make them run less.
Run less. Oh, no.
And they don't like that. They want to run more.
That is great.
So.
Of course they do.
Man, thank you for being with us, Coach.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting
yeah.
to meet you and know you.
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate you being here. And good luck on these meets.
We appreciate
it. And hope to hear more about it. Yeah, come out and watch them there at Cross Country. Again, being Shawnee on Thursday. Remember, right? Okay, I got the nod.
Sir, Thursday.
On Thursday, come see them. Come see them run. We look forward to hearing about it in regionals and where it'll go from there.
And more than coaching, Gerald's a big part of our community. He and his wonderful family,
Yes,
his
sir.
wife, takes great photos for
Yes.
us. And you are a big part of our community, Gerald. Thank you very much
sir.
for that.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being with us, Coach. And, again, check them out there. We'll be right back. Going to wrap this up here in a second. We'll take a break here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Hey, we're back here at the Coaches Show. We're going to wrap it up here, talk a little bit about this week. Gene, you had something you wanted to...
Well, I just wanted to tackle another thought about cross country. I was telling Coach Gerald about the great logo and the T-shirts and the ball caps and everything. I see them everywhere. Yes. I see them everywhere. There's a large group of athletes in cross country. They wear their logo, they wear their T-shirts and ball caps well, but it's a great group. And it just reflects again on Newcastle Public Schools. We have a great athletic program,
Yes.
and I'm really proud of all of our many sports.
And you're right. And what maybe some of you don't know if you're not from Newcastle is a lot of our sports and athletes are very close related to other sports here at Newcastle. Mm-hmm. Other athletes, we're really a great community. In fact, when I came on with OSN, my whole goal was to show people how incredible Newcastle is. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to show. And they are great coaches, great teachers, great student athletes. That's one of the things we want to do on Tuesday nights is let that be seen by you. And that's why we do the overtime thing. Now, with that said, we're looking at Bridge Creek this week, and there was a time when there probably wouldn't be a whole lot to say. However, I think Coach Spangler has done a good job, and I just want to turn it over to you. What are some things that you see this Friday?
Well, the Bobcats are definitely in a building mode again.
That's right.
They have made improvements. A few years ago, they had a pretty good run. Their coaching staff had been stabilized, and they started building their program up. It's kind of still building now, or building once again. Coach Spangler is teaching he's a very successful head coach anyway, and he's really bringing back the basics and discipline and everything like that. So I think Bridge Creek has not had a lot of tough competition, but they've done well with the competition that they've faced.
Absolutely.
So it seems like it seems to me like Bridge Creek are our friendly neighbor, are our neighbors,
right.
our friends.
Yeah.
The thought of going down there and getting tough with them, it doesn't come to my mind, except we do have a job to do down there, and we should prevail over that game. But they're good folks, like so many of the Tri-City schools. They're our neighbors, they're our friends, and we look forward. I think the key to it for Newcastle, first of all, we want to stay healthy.
Yes.
We want to stay healthy. We want to establish our game plan and be who we are. Who we are needs to be established right away, and we should be able to prevail. And we should be able to get a lot of players into that game, Billy.
Yes.
We know that, and that's going to be good in a multiple ways, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you're right. I like what Coach Blue said. I tried to get a little bit out of him. What is something that you can tell us about this week? He said, we focus on what we do.
Right.
We're going to try and get better with what we do. And I think that's the mentality you have to take from, in every game of the season, but especially this week, especially coming off the last game. I think going into Bridge Creek, seeing it as we're going to better ourselves
right.
and not try to play to anybody else's level.
And Billy, the players echo that same message, and that's what I feel good about too. They are speaking the language of their coaches, and I look forward to that. Bridge Creek has had some success this year. They like I said, they played well against the teams they match up with, and they had a pretty significant loss last week to Bethany, who has a pretty strong program. Their top rusher is Caden Morrow. He averages about 60 yards a game. They got 2 or 3 receivers who do a good job. So they'll be fun to watch. And like I said, we appreciate them, and we do wish them well. But we are going to root for the Racers to play their game.
Well, and some of the things I would say, they do have a great quarterback with a great arm. Bo James is their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And watching him in some video and things that he does, he has a way of putting the ball right where he wants it, whether it's, you've heard me say this, whether it's a tap where it kind of goes over and lands in the basket, or it's a hit and hold and it's a rocket. He has a good arm, and you mentioned he has several receivers that he can throw it to, Van Sickle, Palmer, those guys. And so they do well there. Again, run game does very well. And you're right. Bethany is a good team. Bethany is going to be one of the teams probably in the playoffs unless something drastically changes.
And I've seen Bridge Creek play some tough teams, and they play hard. They play hard regardless of how the score goes. So,
and Larry won't let them play any other way.
That's right.
Coach Spangler is something. Here's what I like. I've known of Coach Spangler. If you said, hey, Billy Collier mentioned you, he'd go, who? But some things that I have seen in him, he coaches with the mentality. He expects his players to play with the mentality, and it's not just go out there and run your thing. Play football to win. Play football to compete. Right. And that's one of the things he's changing there. I've heard from some people, he's taken players in one position, moved them to another position, and they have excelled, some things that he saw. And so I think that's going to be good. Another thing I'm looking forward to, this doesn't have to do with the players on either side. They got a computer generated lighting system there.
Oh, they do.
That has the blue lights, and they flash all around. Right. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope they have that up and going. I think it'll be a great night of football. Again, there are neighbors.
There are neighbors, brothers. And Billy, the grandmother of a couple of their players is in the Sunday school class I teach.
Okay.
So I will honor them with great respect because I don't want to hear from my my friend on Sunday mornings.
Go easy on the swears.
Yeah.
No.
There'll be no swears.
No swears. But, no, I think it'll be a fun atmosphere. I think you'll enjoy it. Again, they're just how many miles? Probably 12 miles. As the roads go, as the crow flies, from what they would say, it's not even that much.
Our school districts actually join up; they're adjacent. So from football field to field is probably 6 or 7 miles, maybe.
And so I'd encourage everybody to get out to the game. Let them see a visitor side that's cheering their team on, cheering on the players, cheering on the coaches, making an establishment there, just like it is when they're at Newcastle. I think it's close enough that I hope that there's a lot of fans there. However, maybe you can't get to it. Maybe you're going to be somewhere. Be sure and watch it on OSN. Again, you can see that on Roku. You can see that on Amazon Fire Stick or Apple TV. You can go to the app. You can go to any of those ways, the website, which is oksportsnet.com, and see the game that way. And just be an enjoyable time with our neighbors and a good game.
Now, will we be back here next week, Billy?
Yes.
Next Tuesday night.
Next
at what
Tuesday
time?
night. We will be here at 6:30. And where are we at?
Luigi's in
Luigi's.
Newcastle. And the fans love it. The diners are here, enjoyed every bite of it. I'm very hungry. I see pasta being displayed in front of me that I can't get to. But you will love the food here, and you'll love the environment, not just for our show come during the week, but come back and join us next Tuesday night.
That's right. We do want to say thank you to Dee and thank you to Louise. Thank you to Coach Wilson, everybody involved here. You don't have to wait till next Tuesday to come either. Come anytime. Get some good Italian food here, 117 Northwest 32nd. Well, for Gene Reed, for Uriah Martinez, and for myself, Billy, want to say thank you for being a part of this tonight. Good atmosphere, good energy here, and had a lot of fun. So on behalf of everybody here, thanks, and we will see you this Friday night on the Oklahoma Sports Network.